And the Republican strategist Alex Castellanos. Paul is a senior strategist for the Democratic fundraising groups Priorities USA and Priorities USA Action. Those are the super PACs supporting the President of the United States. Is that right?
Absolutely.
What do you think of his taking the high road, the President taking the high road? The President earlier in the day said, I wish him good luck. He said, is he endorsing me? What do you think about that?
I thought it showed a little humor. I thought it was charming. It was gracious. This has been tough. You can see it in his face. This is tough on Governor Romney. I mean, he looks like a Ken doll. He's just gorgeous, okay? He's like a product of a freakish genetic experiment to produce the perfect-looking candidate. But it's wearing on him. But what I'm happy to see, as an analyst, not as a Democrat, is that it doesn't seem to be affecting his personality. He seemed perfectly pleasant in that exchange. Looks like they're not getting under his skin maybe as much as...
You think he has it wrapped up?
I think he's almost got it wrapped up. I think, you know, last week, Mitt Romney could not afford to lose Michigan. Tonight, I don't think Rick Santorum can afford to lose Ohio. And if he does, then that's, I think, the beginning of the end. And conservatives will begin to consolidate around Mitt Romney.
Because there's still a lot more contests, and there's some big states. I think New York State, California, these are big states out there.
Every time we've buried the body, the hand has come back from the grave, you know. They keep coming back. So, but no, I think it's beginning to consolidate. Republicans are beginning to see the wear and tear of this process is the impact that's having on the candidates, and I think they want to begin to bring this to an end.
You agree with that assessment?
Oh, the wear and tear. It's driven Mitt Romney's favorable in the Wall Street Journal poll down to 28, which is the lowest for any major frontrunner in modern history. 28. Meanwhile, the same poll has the president at 50. Now, I think it'll even out. I think Romney's actually right analytically. He'll come back if he's the nominee, and this is a 50-50 race. But the damage pulling him to the far right, particularly on contraception and immigration. The two key swing votes here are Latinos and single women. Okay, and those are two issues where he used to be a moderate to a liberal. Now the process has pulled him out of the mainstream. This long-term damage. Long-term damage.
Go ahead.
To Mitt.
That's very effective spin, but it just, I don't think it happens to be entirely accurate. If Romney had been pulled to the right, if Romney were the candidate of the conservative part of the Republican Party, he'd have the nomination wrapped up. It hasn't happened that way.
He's got some work to do.
He's got some work to do.
Because both Santorum and Gingrich, they want the other guy to drop out, so it would be Romney versus them. The question is, who drops out first, Santorum or Gingrich?
You know, the speaker, of course, running in Georgia, his home state. Most people think he's pretty likely to win his home state, which is at least...
He gets more than 50% of the vote in Georgia. He'll get all the delegates, and this is the biggest prize of the day, Georgia.
Right, and as my friend, who's a very wise man, said last week, the most important precinct for Newt is that precinct in Las Vegas where Sheldon Adelson, the casino magnate, lives, who's been financing a great measure of the super PAC for Newt. So this all right now works for Mitt Romney as the rest of the field divides the conservative vote. But at some point, someone's got to get him one-on-one. And if it's not one of these conservatives, it's going to be Barack Obama.
I thought the president was effective today when he explained why he made that phone call to that young Georgetown University law student in the aftermath of the whole Rush Limbaugh uproar. Let me play this little clip.
And, you know, the reason I called Ms. Float is because I thought about Malia and Sasha, and one of the things I want them to do as they get older is to engage in issues they care about, even ones I may not agree with them on. I want them to be able to speak their mind in a civil and thoughtful way.
That's a pretty good answer.
Pretty good answer, and let's give him credit. I don't think he's very good at being president, but Barack Obama is very good at wanting to be president and campaigning, and he took advantage of a great political moment, did it in a nice, elegant, subtle way, helped himself. But, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Republicans were saying that Democrats were waging war on religion. This week, the Democrats have hit the ball back over the net. Why Republicans are waging war on women? I checked the data, and I don't know if Paul's aware of this. Half of Republicans actually are women. And the other half think very highly of them. So there is no such thing. This is a big battle about contraception only in this sense. Paul. Planned Parenthood, 24%, by the way, of the largest abortion organization in America, their budget comes from Title X. Republicans want to stop that.
Right. Romney wants to zero out all funding for contraception in the federal budget. That's extraordinary and revolutionary and radical position.
That's not what he said. What he said is, quote, I totally and completely oppose any effort to ban contraception.
He wants to ban the funding for it, which is effectively the same thing for over 5 million women.
71% of that funding comes from Medicaid. Only the funding that goes to the abortion providers.
Title X finances contraception for over 5 million women in over 6,000 clinics in 75% of the counties in America. He wants to take that to 0. It was written by the Republicans. George H.W. Bush was one of the House sponsors of it. Richard Nixon signed it into law. This is a radical position to take